All right. Can everybody hear me? I haven't done one of these in forever, so I'm trying to figure out if this is working today. It's not going to YouTube. Is it not? Oh no, it is. All right, let me pull up my. Can you guys hear me though? Oh no, it is. All right, let me pull up my. All right, we're good. All right, let's do this. Welcome, folks. So bummed. We got people on YouTube, people on Twitter, Periscope, whatever you want to call it. What's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well. Probably not doing well right now. I'm bummed out, man. I'm really bummed out. I think you guys know I'm not like a Nets, diehard fan, but you never want to see injuries, and this is just discouraging. I think that's the best way to put it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what it's going to look like. So I'm just going to start taking questions since they're coming in. People are needing some, being talked off the edge, and I'll try to make a case for how this can happen, for Brooklyn, or how it can't happen for Brooklyn. Hey, Matt, it feels like the series is already over. I think you have to hope for a different type of officiating. And if the officiating is the same, I don't know. I think they have to devise different looks then. So they need to start, I don't know, structuring the offense differently. Maybe just even, not hoping you're going to get those foul calls. I mean, I'm assuming the officiating will be different in Game 5. By the way, I don't know if anybody's going to Game 5, but if you are, hit me up. I'll be there. So, yeah, I'm at a loss, man. I don't... I usually come in with some sort of game plan, general structure, but it's just discouraging. Like, this is just a really discouraging, sad moment where it's like, you see this team, you see how fun it is, you see what they could be, and I feel like we just got this taste all year, and then you saw it in round one, lose Harden, okay. You see it now, and you're like, okay, this is what it can look like. It was a weird game to start, but it just... that's kind of been the tale of this year, huh? And by the way, I do think there's a way if you can get another Mike James game where he's playing well, and maybe you get, Joe Harris plays a little bit better at home. You can stretch it, but if it really depends what happens with Harden. But if this is what the team is for the last 3 games, it's just tough, right? It's tough to see that working for 2 or 3. So, I'll leave it at that. Do you think we can win Game 5 with no Harden and Kyrie, and who would you start? So here, I'm going to make the case. Right now, if you're the Bucks, and we've seen this before. We saw this in Game 3 of the Celtics-Nets series. Nets came out a little flat. They knew, okay, we're playing this team. They're shorthanded. We're up 2-0. Now, it's a different situation. Obviously, the Bucks have a 2-2, but there is a chance they come out flat. They go back home to Brooklyn. That home crowd works, and you start to see some things. Maybe the officiating goes a little bit more to Brooklyn. Landry Shamet gets going. I'm assuming Tyler Johnson's role is going to be bumped up, so maybe he gets going a little bit. Joe Harris is the obvious one. Like, that's how you can see it, but it's just a question of what do those last 2 games look like. So that's my takeaway right now. They are going to load up on KD so much is not feasible without Kai and James. Yeah, it's hard, man. You saw it. Like, you saw it in the fourth quarter. You get a couple of good looks, and then it's like KD is coming off a pin down into 3 bodies. It sucks to watch. Like, it's kind of the same. It's just the same way I felt. It's weird. Like, you watch Steph play in that play-in game, and you're kind of like, wow, this is not actually that much fun to watch. This guy's just getting swarmed. So it's the same thing here. It sucks. It really does. Thoughts on the Giannis Drew undercut? I thought it was incidental, truthfully. It didn't look like it was intentional. Now, maybe there should have been a call for a flagrant. I don't know. But it looked incidental. I don't think it was something where they were both going up for a rebound, and it's bad luck. It's unfortunate. It's like a lot of injuries this year just sort of happened. Bad luck. It happens in basketball. But you know, it sucks. And let me say this about Kyrie. Kyrie has had such a terrific year, and to see it end like this, where he's been so good, he's been the healthiest he's ever been, and for it to happen on this freak accident where it's two guys going up for a rebound, it sucks, man. And I feel for Kyrie right now, and I really hope there's a way where this stretches. And by the way, there's a way for it to happen. The Bucks have shot horribly from three in the playoffs, and shooting variance is a real thing, but it sucks. I hope there's a way where they can dig out of this, and maybe they win the next two, maybe they win in the next two of the next three, and you get to see Kyrie again, because it just doesn't feel like a fitting end to his season, right? It's just all the chatter has been about what James Harden did when Harden came to Brooklyn, and granted, he was great. He changed parts of his game. I know Rockets fans will argue with me on that a little bit, but he did. There were certain things that he changed to work within the 3-star archetype. But Kyrie just, I don't know if there was a more complete offensive player on the Nets. He could play off ball. He could play on ball. He was cutting. He was, when they had James and Kevin out, he was taking over the offense and scoring and distributing. I mean, I'm bummed, man. I'm really, really bummed out. So, what percent do I give for the chance of Harden to play in Game 5? I'm not going to speculate on that, especially with the Nets. They're pretty secret about injuries and stuff like that. But I think if there was an update to be given about James's status, we would have been given it. I think that's, and maybe not. Maybe they're trying to just sort of ease the load on him and not have this be this pressure thing because it's such a weird injury. But that was my takeaway today. Just my takeaway. But that could totally change. So it's hard to say. Man, this is just making me more sad. I think I needed an outlet. It was a weird feeling. Again, it was just a weird feeling to be watching that game. It just was like a sense of emptiness. It was so strange. It's weird. And again, there's a lot of people here that have been fans of the Nets for, any duration, and they're bought in. They're, they live and die with the Nets, and that's awesome. And I feel for you guys too, because this just sucks. There's so many exciting moments of this year, and I hope we get more. That's what I want. I just want to see it happen. But yeah, man. All right. Joe Harris got to take semi-contested threes more. Yeah, I don't want to go too hard on Joe, but they really could have used those rhythm threes really badly today. And there were a couple there would be a dribble handoff with Bruce where it's look, I know you want to get up the best shot possible, but right now a 3-point look where you're getting, you're relocating and in balance, I think you need to get that shot up. And it just, he's a really smart, cerebral player that wants to pass up a good shot for a great one. But when you're down like that, sometimes you just have to take the good shot. It looks a lot different. It's the same way for people that were rocking with the Nets last year. You'll remember there was, and I don't know why I'm talking about this team right now, but that's what this has turned into. The group last year when they lost Karras and then they lost Kyrie with the shoulder injury, there was that month-long stretch where it was Spencer leading the offense. They'd have Garrett Temple, backup point guard. It was a weird phase of Nets basketball. This weird in-between phase where we were all kind of waiting for this team that we're watching right now. Garrett Temple was manning the backup offense, and then you saw kind of Joe put in these weird spots where he had to navigate, kind of being more of a focal point on offense. And initially he really struggled with that. And it's a big transition for him. He's going from shooting mostly wide open threes when the defense rotates to now he's a focal point. He's a guy that the defenses are going to be concerned with. And one of the few concern points probably for the Bucks right now is going to be, hey, if they're going to run Joe Harris off a stagger screen, we need to be watching that. We need to be keyed in on that. And that's what we're watching on that side of the floor. Because the guys screening, it isn't one of KD or Kyrie screening. No, it's guys that we're a little bit less worried about. Maybe it's a Bruce Brown. Maybe it's a Blake Griffin. And just those are guys that they're willing to let happen. And Joe just, he's still got some good looks. I think he's got to take those. All right. Series over. Series is not over. Series is not over. But it's it's looking iffy. Do you think they are forced to sign Spencer based on the circumstances of the season? I'm curious what you mean by that. I'm very curious what you mean by that. Are you saying like because they got hurt they should sign Spencer? Yeah, I wouldn't say so, no. I would really say more of you want to... I mean, how do you plan for this? That's, I guess, the best way to put it. Like, James Harden never got injured before he came to Brooklyn. He ran into this hamstring thing. It sucks. We're seeing a lot of soft tissue injuries this year. And I'm sure there's going to be some people that are going to push back on that. I'm sorry, there have been more of these weird little injuries that just seem like they come from attrition. So, you run into that. Harden's never really had that in his career, and certainly not to the point where he keeps, coming back and forth. And then Kyrie's situation is he stepped on an ankle at literally the worst point in the season that you could possibly have that. So no, I don't think that should affect anything. I think that'll come down to what the market looks like for him, and I'm assuming he's going to have a lot of offers. He's above average starting point guard, but you could even go higher than that. You could go lower than that. Fine, whatever. He's going to make some money this summer. He just is. And I think that he's well aware of that. And that'll probably be the decider. There's a couple guys on this roster, Jeff Green being one of them. I think Bruce Brown is one of them, where their status is really going to be dependent on whatever happens in the offseason. So that's my best answer to that right now, but crazier things have happened. And I don't think that the situation with these guys getting injured is going to affect anything with Spence. What's up, Mark? Mark, I can't be saying that, though. Yeah, Mark's saying he's probably 15-20 million. I think so. But that's a lot of money. I mean, Oh, this is a good one. Why is Nash scared of playing Alizé for at least 10 minutes a game these playoffs? No Tyler either. Tyler, I hear you. Tyler is also a guy that, he's going to come in, defend, shoot some threes. It's probably about it. Create a little bit if he gets run off the line. I think it makes sense to play him, but he's also, I don't look at him as like a ball handler. And no duh, but that's what they're missing right now. So I think that's kind of the issue right now is they just need a guy that can handle the ball outside of KD, because it'd be nice to get KD off ball a little bit, and the Bucks have been blowing that up. PJ Tucker and Chris Middleton have done a good job on that. You can go over the fouling like you want, but they have done a good job. They made it physical, and they've worked under the confines of how that game is being called. We'll put it that way. So for the Nets, they need somebody that can handle the ball a little bit. I think, honestly, if I'm the Nets, I'm going to try to just post up KD as much as humanly possible in these last couple of games. Because right now I don't trust any pick and roll at all unless it's KD handling and you have a strong roller. But even then, I think the Bucks have adjusted well to that. So yeah, I'm posting up KD a lot. That's what I'm running right now. I haven't watched film of this game, so I don't want to go too concrete with any of my takes. but I definitely think that they're going to have to strip it down. And you actually saw it a little bit. I don't know who was watching this, but at the very end, when they were, they kind of realized it sunk in, okay, we don't have Kyrie. They were running some detailed sets. And maybe that's what you have to do, especially in those non-KD minutes. But yeah, I think on the Alizé thing, it's just, maybe he brings some energy, but is that really going to change things all that much? I don't think the rebounding has been a giant issue, so that's what he's coming in and doing and cleaning up. And if that's the case, I also am a little unsure about him defensively right now. I think he's had some good moments, some bad moments. And then the offense is kind of, we know what it is. He's going to cut and, get a floater up or get an offensive rebound and get a floater up. But they kind of already have one guy that does that in Bruce, so then it starts to look, I worry the floor starts to look a little cramped. So I think that's why we haven't seen Alizé either. And he's just young. They don't have a huge feel for him. Gonna have to play Mike James 35 minutes and hope for the best. Yeah, it's I sadly think that these next 3 games all come down to what are you getting out of him? Is it gonna be Mike James in transition early in the clock takes a layup against, I think it was either Giannis or Brook Lopez? Are we gonna get that, or are we gonna get, okay, we're gonna have him play off ball and he'll get a ball, I guess a skip pass, and he's gonna be taking guys off the dribble and getting up, that weird fadeaway shot off the glass where he's like turning across his body. Is that what we're gonna be getting? I don't know. That's what it's gonna come down to big time though, because this is gonna be his opportunity. Got to play TJ Moore and Bruce and Claxton a little bit. Yeah, I just mentioned that in my most recent video, which if you haven't watched, go ahead and feel free, because I think some of those things translated over from the Bucks side of things, just those adjustments. But yes, you got to make the most of what you got now, and I think you need to put as much shooting out there as possible to make things a little bit easier on KD. Because the thing is, if it's just KD, they are going to load up against him. And if you can put shooting around him and give him options, that's how you can change the game a little bit. Because they still have a bunch of guys that can shoot threes. And it'll be on KD making those reads. I thought there were some okay moments today, and then I thought he missed some reads, and that's going to be how they have to do it. Did anything happen with Blake, considering he sat most of the second half? Nash said they wanted to go smaller and quicker to try to make up for the deficit. And I think he also mentioned that he's played a lot of minutes, which I kind of disagree with that personally. I felt like, that's a big ask to put Jeff out there, because, it's one thing if you're going to take Blake out for minutes and worry about his load, but to keep Jeff out there, who hasn't played in 3 weeks or wherever it was, and play him 27 minutes, I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, they were kind of cooked the second Kyrie sprained his ankle, but I didn't love that decision personally. And I felt like it gave Giannis some good drives to the rim and stuff like that. Blake's just been such a deterrent with that. And they're going to need to play him a lot. Just sadly how it's going to work, he's done really good stuff. He's been better than I even could have expected, and I was pretty optimistic about how he'd do against Giannis. So, yeah, if he's fully healthy, then I think he should probably be out there. Logan Type Beat says, as long as KD is wearing a Nets jersey, we got a chance. That's the attitude right there. I love it. King Jadex from YouTube says, Should have had Shamit, KD, Harris, Blake, and Green all on the court together. Yeah, I actually was really interested to see the Blake and Jeff Green minutes together. I mean, I guess we saw that during the regular season. I don't remember it. I didn't remember having a takeaway from that. So, yeah, I think that makes sense. That's probably a really good lineup in this series. The load is going to be on KD to handle and kind of run the break. And then Shamit's probably going to be your, like, secondary playmaker there. Or I guess Blake if you want to do some, like, dribble handoff stuff. But, yeah, I think that's a good lineup. Good amount of shooting around KD. I think that's what I would do. I like that lineup. People are dogpiling KD like it's reasonable to expect him to carry everyone with the Bucks swarming him. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. And I think the other thing that we haven't even talked about, it's one thing how the Bucks are guarding him, but they are literally having to adjust everything they do in one half of basketball. Everything. Literally everything. That's such a huge piece to lose. Whether Kyrie's running the offense or he's on the other side of the floor, you're just losing that. You're losing half your offense there. So it's ridiculous to have takes about KD in a game where he's put in this impossible position where he now has to be the only guy out there. I don't know. I totally agree with you. That's ridiculous. All right, starting lineup next game. I love that we're back to the regular season where we're all making predictions over the starting lineup. Oh, man, what a dumb season. Yeah, probably, this is depressing. I guess Mike James. Bruce. Like Bruce's minutes. Little unsure how I feel about having Bruce, Mike James, Blake Griffin all on the court. Feels like it could be a little bit, Those are all, Bruce is a non-shooter, and Blake passed up I don't know how many threes he passed up. It's been much better this series compared to the Celtics series, but I still have my moments. And then Mike James also. Mike James is not like a hoisted up catch and shoot guy. So I guess you're going to go Mike James, Bruce, Joe, KD, Blake. That's what I would go with. That's probably what they go with. But I'm open to other ideas because I don't feel awesome about that. Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe try Blake. Jeff Green in there. That's not a bad idea. Mike James, Joe, KD, Jeff Green, Blake. That's not a bad idea. I could see either one of those. By the way, side note, Bruce Brown should have played more. I get it. The spacing is all messed up, but you have enough shooting now, even with Kyrie out. Oh, I'm freezing? Man. We're down atrocious right now. Oh, I can see how bad this stream is coming in. Let me let it sit for a second. Marinate. All right, if my computer's not going to let me do this, I'm probably cutting this off. I'm going to give it one more minute, and then I'm giving up. All right. Free agency predictions. I'm not doing free agency. We're not down this bad. I'm not doing free agency in the second round. No, there are 3 games left. This is a tie series. No, we are not doing that. Shameless. Let these guys play. I'm not doing it. That's hilarious. Christopher Garcia says, I'm in shock still. I'm so sad. I thought this was our year. Yeah, really, what a weird, like, I'm gonna remember one of those flashbulb memories where you remember exactly where you were, what you were doing when you saw it happen. I felt it in my soul when that happened, when I saw him go down. Or really, we didn't really see the play, we just saw them playing, I guess guarding or whatever on the other side of the floor with four guys. And I thought in my head, I was like counting up who was out there, trying to be like, okay, so we got KD's out there, who's missing? And then I realized, and I just felt it was like the walls just caved in my apartment. I couldn't believe it. What happened to Joe Harris? Is he struggling because there's no creation? Yes, you nailed it. It looks way better. Devin Booker. Thanks, Devin Booker, for joining the stream. Figured aren't you? I'm not even going to make that joke. That's so bad. Yeah, that's why it looks weird. Look, like, he's a focal point. As I said it earlier, he's a focal point, and he's been getting wide open threes the entire year. And now that's changed. All right, I think I'm coming in laggy, but I'll take one more question and I'm out of here. I'm going to go make dinner. Oh, Dan Fitzpatrick. Did you just make the Devin Booker joke I didn't want to make? Appreciate it. Thanks, Dan. All right, I'll answer this one. Question, why are you wearing a hoodie and it's hot in New York? It's not that hot. I'm always in a hoodie. I'm always in a hoodie at home. I think I just exist permanently in a hoodie. Don't know what it is. It's basketball comes on, I'm like, we're throwing on a hoodie. Just how I operate. All right, let me be. Does DJ play in Game 5? I can tell you right now, no. No, there's no reason to do that. All right, guys. I'm signing off. I'm going to go eat dinner. I don't think I'm going to be doing any favorite album at the moment. Yes, that's a nice positive note. Favorite album at the moment. So I put a thread out on Twitter kind of detailing some of the stuff. I haven't listened to any music for new music for a month and a half. I mean, I've been real locked in with this playoff run. But I think right now, I listened to some stuff today, kind of went to the gym, got my fitness in, and I really, really liked, on the way to the gym, I really liked Apathy's new project, Where the River Meets the Sea. I liked it. I've always been a big fan of Army of the Pharaohs in general, and App's work has always been great. I love Self-Titled too. That's another, just absolutely love Self-Titled for as long as I can remember. So yeah, App's new project's really good. I like the production is excellent, and he's just locked in. I liked it. That's my recommendation right now. I don't know if anybody listens to that type of music, but there you go. Favorite food? Whatever I eat next. I'm that hungry. All right, guys. I'm signing off. Dan, that's another good joke on YouTube. That was a good one. Thank you guys for watching. Expect maybe content from me this week. I don't know, man. Let me recover from this blow like the rest of everybody. I don't know how much I'm going to be doing on this Game 4. Don't know if we really needed takeaways on this game. I think we know what happened, but thank you guys for watching.